Hey YouTube, today I'll be showing you some of the basics and creating your own manga with using Clip Studio Paint. And these are some of the tools I use to create my own manga, and hopefully this is some help to you. So to get us started, we'll just, as mentioned, go over some of the tools that I use. The first tool I normally use when creating my sketches for my manga would be the pencil tool. And it's located right here to the left, and I usually use real pencil. And I use real pencil because it's pretty sketchy. If you look into it, zoom in, it's really sketchy, and I could get really messy when I want to create my own sketches for a drawing. So we'll put this here in a box, and we'll name the box sketching. So that is our first tool. So second tool is the pen tool, and I normally use the G pen. You could also use the real G pen. So G pen usually for our line art. It's a pretty nice tool, and I'll zoom in a bit to show you the differences between this and the real G pen. And there you have the real G pen there. So it's really what your preference is, if you want a more sketchy looking line or you want a more sleek looking one. So I'll put this one in a box and name it line art. So now let's go over the third tool. The third tool I'd like to show you would be the frame border tool. So it's this tool right here, and once you click on it, it says frame border. So it's a very simple tool to use to create frames or panels for your manga. So what you want to do is you want to click and drag, and that creates your frame border tool. One of the things you want to keep in mind with this tool is that once you open it, it practically hides everything below it or beneath it with a white background, and I'll show you how it works. So I'll put it over this, for instance, and it's hidden. So what you want to do is you want to go to your layer panel here, and you want to click on this frame background one. Click on the eye icon, and shows you what's below it. So that would be our third tool here, which is our borders. The second tool we want to use is to cut the frames. So for instance, you may have two panels here, so you can use the same tool, which is the cut frame tool, to cut it. And you could cut it, as you can see, vertically, you could do it horizontally, diagonally, however it is you want to use it. You could cut your borders. So that would be that there, and I will name that borders. Okay, so our next tool we'll use, one sec, let me just move this above. Yeah, keep some order in this page. So our next tool we'll be using will be the balloon tool. So the balloon tool is right over here to the very bottom, and you could click on either one of these balloons you want to use, and I'll show you how to use 3 of them to create speech bubbles. So you, just like the previous tool, we just click and drag. That's one. The ellipse balloon, click and drag. And the curve balloon is a little more trickier. You click, 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 and connect. And that's how you would create speech bubbles. And once you already have your speech bubbles, you can add balloon tails to them by clicking on the tail icon here, and you just click and drag from the center or wherever you want to add that tail. I also use these ones here. These are downloadable ones, and they work in a similar way. You could just download them, and you just grab them and drag them, and you could use them for your manga. And even with these downloadable ones, this balloon tail tool still works for them, and you want to add your tails, so it works the same way. So those are the basic tools we use to create our own manga. We have our pencil for sketching, our pens for line art, our border tools, and our balloon tools. So now what we'll do is I will show you guys from start to finish how it is I use a combination of all of these tools to create my own manga page. So let's get right into it. So now that we're done with our sketch, it's time to add those frame borders. So what we want to do now is we want to click on Create Frame. And just as I showed you earlier, we're going to just click and drag. We're going to drag it until we're happy with where it's at. And then we'll create the frame. And we'll do the same thing for the next frame. We'll just click and drag until it's right where we want it to be. And there you have it. You have yourself 2 frames. So the next thing we want to do now is we want to go over to our layers and we want to click on those eye icons so we can see what's beneath those frames. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cut the frame borders, at least this one, in half, because I have 2 panels here. And there you have it. Those are our frames, or our panels for our page. So now all that's left to do is ink, but before we ink, we want to go right back down to our layer panel and click on the layer that our sketch is on. And as you can see, I am reducing the opacity of the actual sketch. What reducing the opacity does is, as you can see, it's making it much lighter. And we want to make our sketch much lighter so we can actually differentiate the sketch from our line art or the ink. So this will make it much easier when it's time to start the inking process. So now that that is done, it's as light as I want it to be. I can start with the inking process now. And guys, that was everything from start to finish, a full manga page. We used the pencil tool, the frame border tool, the pen tool, and the speech bubbles. And there are a few tools that I actually use in this video that I did not mention at the very beginning. As you can see, I even added some screen tunes in there. And perhaps those are some things we could discuss in another video. But I truly hope that this video was helpful and any way to help you guys to start creating your own manga. So thank you for watching.